What goes around comes around, and my cheating wife is learning that lesson the hard way. But I'm learning that it's okay to open my heart to love again. If you love Reddit stories as much as I do, you're in the right place. Take a sec to subscribe. Now, let's dive in. I drive home, gripping the steering wheel tighter than I should. Jason's gone, out of the picture. Just like that. I should feel relieved. Instead, I feel something else. Focus. Because this isn't over. Not even close. Sarah still thinks I'm an idiot, that I'm a fool she can walk all over. She still thinks she can manipulate her way through this, but she has no idea that I know everything. The lies, the secrets, the men, and when she least expects it, I'll use it to destroy her. By the time I pull into the driveway, my phone is already buzzing. Monique. I answer without thinking. Yeah? Tell me you got something, she says. No hello, no small talk, just straight to business. I let out a slow breath. Jason's out. He doesn't want anything to do with Chloe. He's signing away his rights. Silence, then, holy shit. Yeah, Monique exhales. And Sarah? Still has no idea that I know what she's really up to. I lean back in my seat. Turns out she's screwing her boss. Monique doesn't respond right away. Wait, how do you know that? Jason told me, I say. Apparently, her boss, Antonio, is Jason's best friend. And Antonio, he has a big mouth. He was bragging about it to Jason the other night. And he's also sleeping with the receptionist. Monique lets out a low whistle. So she thinks the grass is greener somewhere else, and she doesn't even realize that her new man is playing her? Exactly. Monique chuckles. That's brutal. I nod, but my mind is already working ahead. Sarah's whole strategy relies on Antonio. She thinks he's her golden ticket, her way to make my life hell, while she waits out the clock to get access to my family's trust fund money. But she doesn't. He's two-timing her. And I'm not going to tell her. Not yet. She needs to learn it on her own. I take a slow breath. Look, I don't need to go after Antonio. He's going to screw himself over. And when he does, Sarah's going to be left with nothing and no one. Monique is quiet for a second. So what's the next move? I sit forward, my grip tightening on the phone. Well, first off, winning the damn custody case, I say. And after that, making sure she never gets a single dime of the trust fund money. It's crazy, you know. My parents were hippies, they fell in love at some music festival in the desert, and lived in a van before they had me. All they wanted for me was to experience true love, like they did. When they came into all that money from the internet boom back in 2000, they never changed. And they didn't want the money to change me or my sister either. That's why they decided to gift any inheritance to our future kids and spouses with the delayed payout restrictions. Don't get me wrong, they spoiled me from the day the money hit the bank. They paid for my education, and we had amazing family trips together all around the world before they died. But they also made sure that I could stand on my own 2 feet as a man, that I could hold down a good job and treat a woman with respect and love. My dad made sure that I could fix a faucet and tell a hilarious joke. My mom made sure that I could make a delicious meal and dance like I was born with rhythm. Being totally honest, I remember my dad being kind of apprehensive about Sarah the first time he met her. We even argued about it. I was so sure she was the perfect one, but I guess he knew better. All they ever wanted was for me to build a family that knew love and real security. I paused then. Tears I'd been holding back for far too long finally rolled down my face. I'm so ashamed that I let them down. After a brief silence, Monique softly said, Mike, you've been an amazing husband and father. Your parents would be so extremely proud of you. I am proud of you. I know it's hard. You don't deserve to be cheated on. You didn't make this mess, and it isn't fair that you have to be the one to fix it. But you've got this. You are a good man, and anyone who says otherwise is a damn liar. I smiled a little then and let out a deep exhale. True friends like Monique are hard to come by. I'm lucky. The next morning, I meet with Mark, my lawyer. We sit across from each other in his office, sleek, modern, the kind of place built for high-stakes battles. He leans back in his chair, flipping through the emergency custody paperwork we filed last week. "So," he says, glancing up at me, "Sarah's lawyer finally responded." I tense. "And?" Mark exhales, tossing the folder onto his desk. "She's fighting it. Hard." "Of course she is. On what grounds?" I ask. Mark taps the file. "Her lawyer claims you're creating an unnecessarily hostile environment and that denying a mother access to her children without cause is emotionally damaging." I let out a sharp laugh. "Without cause?" Mark shrugs. "That's the argument. They're painting you as the bitter ex who wants revenge." I rub my temples. Classic Sarah. "What about the paternity issue?" I ask. Mark nods. "That's where it gets interesting. Since Jason signed away his rights, the court still sees you as Chloe's legal father. That actually works in your favor." I frown. "How?" "Because if Sarah tries to use the DNA test against you, she's shooting herself in the foot," Mark explains. "Right now, you're the only stable father figure in Chloe's life. The court won't want to remove you unless there's a damn good reason." I exhale slowly. "So what's the strategy?" Mark leans forward. "We keep the focus on Sarah's instability. We emphasize her past actions, her dishonesty, her affairs, her pattern of deception. If we frame it right, we can argue that she's unfit to have primary custody." I nod. "And what about her new boyfriend?" Mark raises an eyebrow. "Antonio?" "Yeah," I say. "The guy she's depending on, he's not who she thinks he is." Mark tilts his head. "What do you mean?" I smirk. "Let's just say Sarah's powerful protector is about to self-destruct. I don't have to wait long for Sarah to make her next move. That afternoon, I get a text. It's Sarah. "Mike, I need to see the kids. We need to talk." I roll my eyes. I let the message sit for a while, debating whether to respond. Then, before I even have a chance, my phone buzzes again. "Sarah, if you think you can just take them from me, you're wrong." There it is, the fake concern slipping away, the real Sarah coming through. I type back. "Me, we'll let the court decide that." 3 dots appear, then stop, then start again. "Sarah, you're being ridiculous. We can work this out between us." I almost laugh. She doesn't want to work this out. She wants to manipulate me. "Me, you didn't want to work it out when you were screwing Jason, or Antonio. Nothing. For a long time, just silence. Then, Sarah, you don't know what you're talking about." I smirk. That reaction tells me everything. I don't reply. I just set my phone down and exhale. Sarah thinks she's about to win this custody battle. She has no idea that she's standing on a ticking time bomb, and I'm just waiting for it to go off. Damn, this story is crazy. Leave a comment below what you think they should do in this situation. And remember to hit the like button. It really helps boost the channel and the YouTube algorithm, so more people find us and we can keep bringing you great content. Okay, let's get back to it. Sarah has always believed she's the smartest person in the room. She lies, manipulates, plays people against each other, and somehow she always manages to land on her feet. Until now. Because tonight, she learns what it feels like to be the fool. She's running late. Antonio had promised her dinner at his place. Nothing fancy, just a private evening together. And after the week she's had, she needs it. She needs to be reminded that she still has control, that everything is still going according to plan, that she's still winning. She pulls into the parking garage beneath his high-rise and checks her reflection in the rearview mirror. Her makeup is perfect. Her outfit, a subtle but effective mix of sexy and sophisticated. She steps out of the car, smoothing her dress, then heads to the private elevator. Antonio gave her a keycard a month ago, said she didn't need to wait for him anymore, that she could let herself in anytime, like a girlfriend. The thought makes her smirk. Mike always saw her as a wife, a mother, a burden. But Antonio, He saw her as a desirable woman. She slides the keycard through the reader, the doors slide open, and she steps inside. The elevator climbs to the penthouse in smooth silence. Her heels click against the marble as she steps into the dimly lit hallway leading to Antonio's living room. The sound of low voices reaches her ears. She frowns, a woman's laugh, soft, young, playful. Sarah's heart skips a beat, but she pushes forward. Maybe it's the TV. Maybe. Then she sees them. Antonio, shirtless, standing in front of the couch. Before him sits his 20-year-old receptionist. Sarah freezes. For a second, she doesn't breathe, doesn't move. The receptionist is laughing, her slender fingers trailing along Antonio's chest. Antonio smirks down at her, his voice smooth, dripping with amusement. "Baby, you're trouble, you know that?" The receptionist giggles. "You love it." Sarah sees red. Her purse drops to the floor with a dull thud. Antonio and the girl both snap their heads toward her. The girl gasps, sitting back. Antonio just sighs. "Oh, Sarah," he says flatly, like she's a goddamn inconvenience. Sarah's hands shake. Her entire body burns with humiliation. "You son of a bitch," she breathes. Antonio runs a hand through his hair, looking annoyed instead of guilty. "I told you I had a late meeting." Sarah almost laughs. "A meeting?" Her voice comes out sharp, dangerous. "This is your freaking meeting?" The young woman shifts uncomfortably, like she finally realized she's in the middle of something ugly. I should go." "Yeah, you should," Sarah snaps, eyes blazing. But Antonio chuckles, like this is nothing, like she's nothing. "Relax," he says, stepping toward her like he's talking to a child. "You're getting worked up over nothing." Sarah slaps his face. The sound cracks through the penthouse. The receptionist gasps, covering her mouth. Antonio doesn't flinch, just stares at Sarah, his face darkening. "That was a mistake," he says coldly. Sarah's breathing is ragged, her pulse pounds in her ears. This wasn't supposed to happen. She left Mike because she wanted something better, a real man, and now she's just another one of Antonio's used-up playthings. Her nails dig into her palms. "You're gonna regret this," she says. Antonio tilts his head, mocking. "Am I?" Sarah hates the way he looks at her, like she's pathetic, like she was stupid for ever thinking she was different. He steps closer, his voice dropping to a low, dangerous whisper. "You knew what this was." Sarah's breath catches, because he's right. She thought she was playing the game, thought she was in control. But Antonio? Antonio was playing her the whole time. Her vision blurs with rage, but she doesn't give him the satisfaction of another outburst. She turns on her heel, shoving past the terrified receptionist, grabbing her purse off the floor and storming back to the elevator. Antonio doesn't call after her, doesn't stop her. He just lets her go. And that is the worst part of all. 6 months have now passed, and saying it's been exhausting would be an understatement. Things weren't the same after she found out about Antonio's cheating. She started drinking unbeknownst to me. She begged to come back home, but there was just no way. Too much damage was done, and I could never trust that it wasn't the inheritance that kept her with me. I can't live like that. Anyway, I got full custody of Ethan and Chloe. She gets visitation twice a month. That's it. The judge saw right through her. The affairs, the instability, the manipulation, it all worked against her. But the worst part is that a couple months back she got arrested for a DUI. The kids were in the back seat at the time, and I was absolutely livid when I found out. Thank God nobody was hurt, at least. It could have ended in disaster. She tried to cry in court. She tried to paint me as the bitter ex. She tried to say I was trying to take the kids just to hurt her. But none of it mattered, because at the end of the day, the truth was simple. I was the parent. She was the problem. And now she has to live with that. Thankfully, I was able to preserve the full inheritance for both of the kids, so at least financially they'll be okay. But emotionally, right now, they are hurting. I'm doing the best I can for them, and their godmother Monique has been such a rock for them. They absolutely adore her, and I'm so grateful for her presence in our lives. Today, Sarah can really see the pain she put her children in. After months apart, she feels it too. She sits stiffly in the visitation center, looking at Ethan and Chloe across the table. They're talking, but they're different now. More distant, more cautious. Ethan gives short answers. Chloe stays close to her older brother. Sarah smiles, but it's strained. Chloe, honey, do you want to come sit with Mommy? Chloe hesitates, then shakes her head. Sarah's face falls. Just for a second, she hides it fast, forcing another smile. But I see it, and for the first time ever, she looks small. She tries to touch Ethan's hand. He doesn't pull away, but he doesn't hold it either. She knows. She lost them. Not because I took them. Not because the court ruled against her. She lost them all on her own. When the hour ends, Ethan and Chloe run back to me. I kneel down, hugging them tight. My kids, my life, my world. Sarah stands there, watching. She swallows, her hands clenching into fists, her face frozen. For years, she thought she was invincible, thought she was the one who had control. And now? Now she has nothing. I don't say a word to her as I take my kids' hands and walk away. I don't need to, because she already knows this is her hell, and she built it herself. That evening, my sister came by to watch the kids for me, and I headed over to Monique's. By the time I pull into her driveway, she's already waiting at the door. Her eyes lock onto mine. So, how did it go with the kids and their mom? I let out a deep, exasperated exhale. It went. Monique studies my face, then steps aside. Come in. I do. The second I step inside, it feels different. Or maybe I feel different. She hands me a drink, curls up on the couch, and pats the spot beside her. Tell me everything. I sit. The words come easier than I expect. I tell her about the hearing, the ruling, the way Sarah crumbled today, right in front of me. Monique listens, nodding, understanding me in a way no one else ever has. And when I'm done, she just sighs. You finally did it, she murmurs. You got your life back. I turn my head. Her face is so close. For months she's been here, holding me up, standing by me, being everything I didn't even know I needed. And now, for the first time, I really see her. Not as Sarah's ex-best friend, not as just my friend, as something more, something real. Monique's eyes soften. She tilts her head, her lips curling into a small, knowing smile. What? She teases. I shake my head, chuckling. Nothing. She raises an eyebrow. Liar. I watch her, my chest tightening, my pulse picking up. You've been here through all of this, I murmur. Every step, every fight, every broken piece. She holds my gaze. Yeah, I have. I swallow. Why? Monique exhales, setting her glass down. Then, slowly, deliberately, she reaches forward and takes my hand. Because I love you, Mike. My breath catches. The words hit me like a storm, unraveling everything I thought I knew. I don't move, don't blink. But inside, everything shifts. She loves me. She's loved me all along. And suddenly, I don't care about the past, about Sarah, about anything but this moment. My fingers tighten around hers, then I lean in. The kiss is slow, deep, like breathing for the first time. Like every battle, every wound, every scar was leading to this. She melts into me, her hands sliding around my neck, pulling me closer. I groan, gripping her waist, letting every unspoken feeling pour into this kiss. I pull back, just enough to rest my forehead against hers. Monique smiles, soft, breathless, perfect. Took you long enough, she whispers. I chuckle, brushing a thumb over her cheek. Yeah, she tilts her head. So what happens now? I don't answer right away. I just pull her close, my lips brushing against hers as I whisper, everything. And as usual, that was a lot. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. See you in the next one.